Indian businesses, emerging from a country once considered the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, are now acquiring some of the UK's most iconic companies. Decades ago, the British Empire extended its reach across continents, shaping economies and claiming dominance over nations. Yet today, a dramatic economic shift is underway. India, a nation once regarded as a developing economy with limited global influence, has risen to become a major force in international business. Indian corporations are not only competing on the global stage, but are actively buying billion-dollar companies in one of the world's oldest financial powerhouses, the United Kingdom. Consider this. Tata Group, an Indian conglomerate, now owns Jaguar and Land Rover, two of the most prestigious names in British automotive history. Reliance Industries, one of India's largest firms, purchased the British toy retailer Hamleys and even an iconic British estate, Stoke Park. These acquisitions are not just business deals. They symbolize a profound shift in economic power, a reversal of roles that has left observers asking, how did India, still categorized as a developing economy, gain the resources and confidence to invest billions overseas? This story goes far beyond trade. It's about how a growing economic giant like India is transforming global markets, challenging long-standing economic powerhouses, and securing its place as a dominant player on the world stage. And trust me, the reasons behind these acquisitions and their far-reaching impacts will surprise you. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Economy Explorer so you won't miss any part of this fascinating journey. Let's explore what's really driving this historic economic shift. Why Indian companies are investing in the UK. A shared history with a new twist. Indian businesses, emerging from a country once considered the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, are now acquiring some of the UK's most iconic companies. But why? The historical ties between the two nations, while complex, have evolved into strong trade and investment partnerships. The UK, once a colonial ruler, is now a prime destination for India's global ambitions. This dramatic shift speaks volumes about India's growing economic clout and the UK's unique appeal. A gateway to global markets. The UK's position as a global financial and trade hub makes it an irresistible opportunity for Indian companies. London, often referred to as the financial capital of the world, offers direct access to international markets, stable regulations, and a mature business environment. Indian corporations see the UK as the gateway to Europe, even post-Brexit, because of its strategic location and extensive economic networks. For many, acquiring UK-based companies isn't just about British consumers, it's about reaching the entire Western market. Technological advancement and innovation. Indian firms, particularly in sectors like IT, pharmaceuticals, and manufacturing, recognize the UK's leadership in advanced technology and innovation. Take Tata Group's acquisition of Jaguar Land Rover. Beyond prestige, this deal gave Tata access to cutting-edge automotive technology. Similarly, investments in battery technology firms like Reliance's acquisition of Faradion position Indian companies to harness world-class innovations and bring them back home, accelerating progress in emerging industries. Diversifying investments for stability. The UK's stable economic and legal systems make it a safe bet for Indian businesses looking to diversify their global portfolios. For a country growing at breakneck speed, relying solely on domestic markets is risky. By investing in established UK firms, Indian conglomerates are hedging their bets, protecting themselves from volatility back home while gaining steady profits in dollars, pounds, and euros. This economic strategy allows Indian companies to fund further global expansions. A booming Indian corporate sector. India's rise as an economic powerhouse has fueled its businesses with unprecedented resources. The country's top corporations, like Reliance and Tata, now have the financial muscle to compete globally. With India's domestic markets already booming, major players are turning outward to increase their influence. Acquiring UK businesses isn't just about profits. It's about announcing India's arrival on the world stage, proving that Indian companies are now major contenders in global business. A bridge for jobs and trade. When Indian companies invest in the UK, they don't just acquire assets, they create opportunities. These investments often lead to job creation, both in the UK and back in India. For example, Tata Group's multi-billion-pound gigafactory project in the UK promises thousands of new jobs while strengthening trade ties between the two nations. Indian businesses aren't just investing for themselves, they're building economic bridges that benefit both economies. At the heart of this investment trend lies a fascinating story of ambition, strategy, and opportunity. But what specific companies are driving this shift? Let's take a closer look at the names behind these billion-dollar deals. Reliance Industries, from batteries to toys. When Reliance Industries acquired Bharti Unlimited for £100 million in 2021, it wasn't just about purchasing a company, it was about seizing the future of energy. Bharti, a global leader in sodium-ion battery technology, opened doors for Reliance to pioneer energy solutions across markets. But Reliance's acquisitions didn't stop there. In 2019, they bought Hamleys, the iconic British toy retailer, adding a splash of nostalgia and fun to their portfolio. Originally founded in 1760, Hamleys is a symbol of British heritage, yet today its fate lies with an Indian conglomerate. Reliance even ventured into the hospitality sector by purchasing Stoke Park, a £57 million deal showcasing its interest in luxury and leisure. These acquisitions highlight Reliance's strategy: invest in legacy brands and future-focused technology, seamlessly bridging the UK's tradition with India's ambitions. Tata Group, building an empire in the UK. No story of Indian acquisitions would be complete without Tata Group, a powerhouse shaping industries worldwide. Back in 2000, Tata acquired Tetley Tea for $407 million, a move that turned them into a global beverage giant. Then came the landmark acquisition of Jaguar Land Rover, JLR, from Ford Motors in 2008. Although headquartered in the UK, JLR's engineering prowess transformed Tata into a leader in luxury automobiles. Most recently, Tata announced a staggering €4 billion investment to build a UK gigafactory. This massive battery production facility, one of the largest in Europe, will secure local jobs and drive innovations for Jaguar Land Rover's electric future. Tata's journey shows how a single conglomerate has managed to revitalize British brands, ensuring global growth while funneling cutting-edge technology back to India. Wipro and Infosys, dominating the tech scene. The IT sector has also witnessed Indian influence. In 2021, Wipro completed a $1.45 billion deal to acquire Capco, a London-based consultancy firm, strengthening Wipro's foothold in the financial services sector. Meanwhile, Infosys, one of India's tech giants, bought Brilliant Basics in 2017 to expand its digital transformation services. These acquisitions demonstrate how Indian IT companies are not just exporting talent, but actively buying UK expertise to sharpen their global edge. Hinduja family and other billionaires. Beyond corporations, Indian billionaires like the Hinduja family and Lakshmi Mittal have shaped the UK economy. The Hinduja Group's ventures span banking, healthcare, and manufacturing, cementing their position as major players in London's financial hub. Similarly, Lakshmi Mittal, once the world's richest man, runs ArcelorMittal, the largest steel company globally. These billionaires represent not just wealth, but a shift in influence, where Indian origin leaders play a dominant role in one of the world's oldest economic powerhouses. Job creation and economic growth. When Indian companies invest billions in the UK, the immediate impact is clear. Jobs. Take Tata's $4 billion gigafactory project. It's expected to create over 4,000 jobs in the UK while stimulating the local economy. These positions range from advanced engineers to factory workers, boosting employment across sectors. For Britain, where industrial jobs have been declining, such investments are a breath of fresh air. Meanwhile, back in India, these global expansions often require support operations, creating roles in IT, logistics, and manufacturing. Indian businesses are effectively bridging job markets, fueling growth on both ends. Technology transfer, a win-win advantage. A lesser-known yet critical impact of these acquisitions lies in technology transfer. When Tata acquired Jaguar Land Rover, it gained access to cutting-edge automotive engineering and research facilities. This knowledge has not only elevated Tata Motors' global competitiveness, but has also bolstered India's domestic auto sector. Reliance's acquisition of Faradion, for instance, brings sodium-ion battery technology, essential for India's clean energy ambitions. By tapping into British innovation, Indian companies enhance domestic industries while reinforcing the UK's position as a technology hub. Strengthening trade relations. These acquisitions go beyond ownership. They strengthen trade ties between the two nations. Indian businesses operating in the UK inject billions into its economy annually. According to reports, over 950 Indian firms in the UK generate revenues exceeding $65 billion while employing over 100,000 people. This influx of capital strengthens bilateral trade agreements, opening doors for smoother business between the countries. At the same time, UK-based Indian businesses act as gateways, exporting British products and services to the rapidly expanding Indian market. Capital flow and profitability. One of the biggest motivations behind these acquisitions is capital generation. Indian businesses are not merely investing for prestige, they aim to generate profit in foreign currencies like pounds and euros. For example, Jaguar Land Rover reported £7.1 billion in revenue in Q4 2023 alone, with profits funneled back to Tata Motors or reinvested globally. This steady flow of capital creates a financial buffer for Indian companies, allowing them to reinvest in India, fuel growth, or expand to other international markets. For the UK, this cycle of investments generates revenue, taxes, and sustained economic activity. A new balance of economic power. Perhaps the most symbolic impact of these acquisitions is their reflection of a shift in global economic power. The UK, once the center of the world's wealth, now sees itself as a recipient of investments from India, once part of its colonial empire. Some call it reverse colonialism, but in reality, it's a testament to India's economic rise. It showcases how developing nations are now influential global players, capable of revitalizing economies traditionally seen as untouchable. Indian acquisitions are not just reshaping industries, they're rewriting economic history. But what challenges might arise from this rapid global expansion? Stick around as we explore both sides of the coin. A shift in global influence. For centuries, the British Empire dominated global trade, with India serving as the jewel in the crown. Today, that dynamic has reversed. Indian corporations are acquiring iconic British companies, signaling an economic power shift. These deals aren't just transactions, they're symbolic. India, once colonized, now plays a critical role in revitalizing parts of the UK economy. India's economic rise on the global stage. India's ascent to becoming the world's fifth largest economy is no accident. Driven by rapid industrialization, a booming tech sector, and a young, ambitious workforce, Indian corporations have the confidence to compete globally. The ability to purchase high-value companies like Jaguar Land Rover and Reliance demonstrates India's growing capital reserves and international influence. Visualizing this change through charts showing GDP growth comparisons between India and the UK highlights this transition. The UK's role in the global economy. Despite its status as a developed economy, the UK remains an attractive market. Its advanced technology sectors, financial infrastructure, and historic brands present unique opportunities for Indian investors. For Indian firms, the UK serves as both a gateway to Europe and a launchpad for global expansion. Meanwhile, Britain benefits from these investments through job creation, tax revenue, and innovation, a win-win dynamic that strengthens bilateral ties. A new model of reverse globalization. The economic ripple effects of these acquisitions challenge old narratives. Previously developed nations expanded into developing markets, reaping the benefits of cheap labor and resources. Today, nations like India are flipping the script, using their wealth to acquire global assets. This reverse flow of capital illustrates the growing power of emerging economies in reshaping global commerce. The bigger picture? Indian companies are no longer just competing, they're leading. But what challenges lie ahead for India as it steps further into the global spotlight? Keep watching as we explore what this means for the future of global trade. Economic growth in action. Indian companies investing in the UK are more than just business deals. They're proof of a changing world order. Tata's revival of Jaguar Land Rover, Reliance's bold move into energy tech with Reliance, and the billion-dollar investments across industries showcase a dynamic India stepping onto the global stage. This is economic growth in action, where capital flows, jobs emerge, and innovation thrives. But what does it all mean for us? It means we are witnessing history, an era where emerging economies shape the future, not just play catch-up. Whether it's jobs in Britain or technology fueling India's growth, these acquisitions are a win-win that reminds us power isn't about where you started, but where you're headed. India's rise to global prominence tells us one thing: economic influence is earned through vision and bold moves. Are Indian businesses just getting started? You decide. If you enjoyed this journey through India's global ambitions, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Economy Explorer for more insights into the forces shaping our world. Check out one of the videos on your screen, and thank you for being part of our channel.